Hi, today we're going to continue our exponential equation unit. So we are asked to solve 9 raised to the x squared equals 27 raised to the x plus 3. The first thing that I want to ask myself when it comes to solving equations is identify the type of equation. Again, is it linear, quadratic, etc. In this case, I'm going to look at the position or placement of where the variable is. And in this case, it's in the exponent area. So this is an example of an exponential equation. When it comes to solving exponential equations, it would be really nice if we can fix both the left side and right side in terms of the same base. And in this case, we can. So the bases that we currently have is 9 and 27. So when I see base 9, I'm going to ask myself, can I easily fix it so both sides are written in terms of base 9? And the answer is no, because 27 is not a power of 9. But if we keep our cool, we realize that 9 is a power of 3. 27 is also a power of 3. So in this case, we are going to try to fix it so both the left side and right side are in terms of powers of 3, or we just say base 3. So when we rewrite 9 in terms of base 3, that will give us 3 squared. But what's going on with the 9? The 9 is being raised to the x squared power. When we write 27 in terms of base 3 or power of 3, that will give us 3 to the third power. What is going on with the 27? That is being raised to the x plus 3 power. At this point, I'm super pumped because we have 3's on the left and right side, but in this case, the basis is not quite 3. The base on the left side is 3 squared. The base on the right side is 3 cubed. So we're going to go ahead and apply the power rule. For exponents, so gentle reminder, if you're raising powers, you're going to keep the base and multiply the exponents. So when we apply the power rule to the left side, that will give us 3 raised to product of 2 and x squared equals 3. Power rule on the right, raised to 3 times x plus 3. So at this point, I'm going to ask myself, did I really fix it so the bases are the same? And to answer the question, the answer is yes. We have base 3 on the left, we have base 3 on the right. And the property of exponential equation says that if the bases are equal, then there's no way around it. Then the powers have to be equal. So let's go ahead, take the left exponent or the left power and set it equal to the right exponent. Let's take our time, simplify each side before we make the call in terms of what strategy we are going to use to factor. So we have a degree 2 equation or quadratic equation. Factoring is my go-to, but you can go straight to quadratic formula or whatever technique you would like. So let's go ahead, take our time, set this equal to 0. We'll subtract 3x from both sides, subtract 9 from both sides. And then there are different ways to factor trinomials whose leading coefficient is not 1. Factoring is a little bit challenging for me, so I will go ahead factor by using the AC method. So gentle reminder, the gist of the AC method is to split the middle terms so you can have 4 terms and then factor by grouping. So we're going to go ahead set up the corresponding x game. So the corresponding x game, we want factors of AC or a times c that add up to b. This is a trinomial of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So leading coefficient is 2, that's our a. Coefficient of the middle term is -3, that's our b. Constant term is -9, that's our c. So factors of AC, product of 2 and -9 will give us -18. Value of b is -3. So I'm like, okay, what are factors of -18 that add up to -3? After a moment, we realize that the factors are 6 or -6 and 3. So let's go ahead and check it. Product is -18, sum is -3. So just a reminder, the gist of the AC method is to split the middle term. So you can have 4 terms and then factor by grouping. So we are going to use the sides of the x game to split the middle term. Variable part of the middle term is x. So when we use the sides, we will replace it with -6x and +3x. So that will give us 2x squared. We split the middle term and we are going to replace it with -6x followed by +3x. Now that we have 4 terms, we're going to go ahead factor by grouping. We'll group the first 2 terms, then we'll group the last 2 terms. From the first group, we can factor out a 2x. From the second group, we can factor out a 3. And then at this point, as expected, we do have a common binomial factor. When we factored from the expression, that will leave us with 2x plus 3. Now, depending on how comfortable you feel with these numbers, you can go straight to the answer, but with your permission, I'm going to go ahead and show more work. So we have that the product equals 0. So if the product equals 0, then one of these factors has to equal 0. Either the first factor equals 0, or the second factor equals 0. If the first factor equals 0, that will give us that x equals 3. And if the second factor equals 0, then that will give us that x equals negative 3/2. Bear in mind that OR means union, so it would be really nice if you took the union of the solutions. For me, it doesn't really matter if you write the answers in order from smallest to largest. It's a personal choice. Of course, if you consult with the back of your book, we are expected to write them in order. So the solutions are 3 and negative 3/2. If your instructor asks you to write it in set notation, then we have that the set is given by 3 and negative 3/2. So that is it. If you have any more questions, let me know.